Okay, question 3, part A. Solve the inequality x plus 3 over x minus 4 less than 2. Two conditions: x is an element of reals, x is not allowed to be equal to 4. And we've got to remember that because these two may impact on the answer at the end. Now, you might be forgiven to think, oh yeah, simple, clear the denominator, multiply both sides by x minus 4, but we cannot do that with inequalities for the very simple reason that we don't know whether x minus 4 is positive or negative, and depending on the value of x, it could be either. The only value x is not allowed to have is 4. It can have any other value from the reals, so therefore it could be positive, it could be negative. If it's negative and we multiply both sides of an inequality by a negative term, we have to remember to change the overall direction of the inequality sign. So we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we multiply across by something that's related to x minus 4, but something we know is definitely positive, namely x minus 4 to be squared. So x plus 3 over x minus 4 multiplied by x minus 4 to be squared less than 2 by x minus 4 to be squared. Because don't forget, to keep the whole thing balanced, keep the whole thing the same on both sides, you have to do the same thing on both sides. That means x minus 4 cancels with one of those, and that gives me x plus 3 times x minus 4, which is x squared minus x minus 12. That in turn is less than 2 times x minus 4 to be squared, which is 2x squared minus 16x plus 32. And then we clear one side. So I'm going to set the side that has the lowest x squared to 0. The way in which I would do that is I would subtract x squared, add x, and add 12. So if I do that to this side, I have to do the same thing over here. So 0 is less than, remember what I did? Subtract x squared. So you subtract an x squared from here. Add an x to this brings it to minus 15x, and add 12 brings it to plus 44. So therefore, if I open the brackets to factorize this thing, x squared is x by x. Factors of 44 that add to 15 is definitely 11 and 4. They want to add to minus 15, so minus 11 minus 4, and that means x is equal to 11, or x is equal to 4. Now, when we're dealing with inequalities, please remember, the two values that you get when you have factorized and solved your quadratic equation are reference values. Look at them on the number line, 4 and 11. And what they do is they break up in the number line into three regions. The answers will either be to the left of 4 and the right of 11, or they'll be in between 4 and 11. So what we've got to try and figure out is which one of these or two regions contain the answers to the inequality. So what I would suggest you do is take a value and test it. And I always told you, take 0, test 0 if it's available. Now what I mean by that is, if it's not a reference value, test it. So I'm going to take 0 from here, put it into the inequality, and that's going to give me 3 over minus 4 should be less than 2, which is true. So that means that part of the number line that contains 0 plus the part above 11 are the ones that contain the answers to this inequality. So the way we write that down, the values of x here are to be less than 4. Remember, not allowed to be equal to 4, so less than 4. And the values here are x values that would be greater than 11. So there's your answer to part A.